It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet a reverend on Take A Pew tonight.
It's morning, mate.
Well, yeah. Well, people might be listening in the evening. In any case, Simon, as you're widely known as Kermit, I thought you might like the Muppet reference.
I think it's you that's the Muppet, mate.
Harsh. Anyway, hello everyone, Ian Wishart here.
And Simon Clark over here.
And it is our delight and privilege to welcome you to another astonishing episode of the farrago that we like to call Take A Pew.
Farrago?
Look it up later, mate. And our guest this time is the Reverend Noelle Coe, who is the Guildord Town Centre Chaplain.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
Well, we'll find out right now, because this is Take A Pew with the Reverend Noelle Coe.
Noelle Coe.
Take a pew.
Well, here we are in the very picturesque Surrey village of Newdigate. We're tucked behind the Church of St. Peter's in the Rectory, and the home of our guest, the Reverend Noelle Coe. Noelle, welcome to the show, and please take a pew.
Hi, Noelle. Great to see you. As usual, on Take A Pew, we're looking forward to finding out all about your journey through life and to learn more about your current ministry.
Yes, but perhaps, Noelle, you'd just like to introduce yourself to our wonderful listeners.
Well, I'm Noelle Coe, as you might have worked out. I'm old, the Guildord Town Centre Chaplain, and I'm also Associate Priest here in Newdigate. I was ordained priest in 2009. I was the first female ordinand to come through St. Mellitus training on Fresh Expressions and Pioneer Ministry. I'm part of a clergy couple, and I have 3 grown-up children.
Brilliant. Thanks, Noelle. And hopefully you've been warned that we'd also like to hear about your favourite things and what you consider to be a splendid packed lunch.
And I hope you're ready for Simon's Random Question. But let's kick off with a bit of history. Where did life begin for you, Noelle? I understand it was somewhere south of Helsinki.
It was south of Helsinki. That was a really good guess. Thank you.
Yeah, gives you a wide range.
Yes, I was actually born in London, in Upper Tooting, not just Tooting, but Upper Tooting.
Fancy.
Yes.
Fancy.
I come from, I'm very proud of, working class background.
Right, okay.
You can tell by my posh accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
My great-grandfather was the first trade union rep in Concert Steelworks up in the northeast.
Okay. That's proper working class.
Proper working class.
Yeah, right.
And he used to be an itinerant minister as well. So on Sundays he'd get on his bicycle and cycle around all the chapels, one after another, all over the fells and things, and preach.
Yeah.
So good stock there.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the family, my grandmother used to be a lift girl at Army and Navy stores.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but all of them were actually really London people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that had its ups and downs, being a lift girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I gave you that one, didn't
I?
So we then moved out from London to Walton-on-Thames.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I know someone in the room.
Yes.
Know something about Walton-on-Thames.
Yeah, I grew up in Walton-on-Thames as well.
Yes, which is amazing. And I went to a couple of schools there, Ambleside and Rydens.
Ooh. No, we used to play against Rydens. We used to play football against Rydens.
Right.
I was at Heathside. Yeah.
Oh, no, you weren't, were you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
But it taught a lot of life skills, sort of survival and things. Not so good on the academic side of things.
Oh, right. So let's just delve into that, because we've got a question for you. And our question is...
What were you like at school? Were you a little bit geeky? Or were you a little bit freaky? Or were you a little bit cheeky? What were you like at school?
Yes, Noelle, what were you like at school?
Well, I've actually heard a number of your programmes before, and everyone seems to be more on the geeky, really clever side. So I'm balancing it.
Right.
I was very quiet. Tried to go under the radar and hoped I didn't get noticed, basically because I didn't really like it. I said to Simon that I was dyslexic, so that was always a bit of a struggle, and I just didn't fit.
Yeah.
So I used to be sort of probably none of my teachers remember who I am. Let's put it that
Right,
way.
okay. Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
No, it's really what I find really interesting is that I think you're the 6th guest that we've had, and the 3rd guest that has been dyslexic.
I know.
It's quite strange, isn't it?
Maybe that's a pathway to priesthood.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, tell us a bit about in Walton. Did you ever go to the Hop? Did you ever go to that disco?
I did.
I was never allowed to go.
Yeah.
I think there was a song, wasn't there? We're going to the hop, hop, hop.
Oh yes.
Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I can't remember who sang
Was that
it.
about Walton?
Yes,
I think it was.
Yes,
and
it
it was
was.
mentioned in a few songs. I think it's sort of Sham 69. mentioned
Yes,
it.
I went to school with Sham 69.
Did
I
you?
did.
Oh, Jimmy Percy.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Gosh.
Not sure that's something to boast about,
No,
but
but we can catch up on that later. Definitely.
I'm just astonished that the club in Walton's got a song that some people will know about it. That's
Yeah.
yes,
Wow,
of
I'd
course,
never realised
of
that was-
course,
yeah,
it's a
that's what
special
it
place.
Yeah.
It was. It was really
So-
quite trendy. Anyway,
back when you weren't busy keeping under the radar, Noelle. What did you like to do when you were? What other things did you do outside school when you were younger?
Drama, dance,
Oh, okay.
walking, hiking.
Tell us about the drama and dance, which sounds somewhat contrary to your wanting to
Yes,
stay low profile.
yes. Outside of the school system, drama was, and actually, it's been a great help in ministry
Okay.
because you know how to project yourself. Because
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah.
worse than
Yeah.
someone. You can have the best sermon in the planet, but if you can't deliver it, everyone's gone
Yeah.
to sleep, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can use some of those skills.
And I think you mentioned that you were on the fringes of the National Youth Theatre or something at some point, did
That's
you?
right. I was really quite serious about my drama and thought
Yeah.
I might go into it as a career. And
Wow,
I applied
okay.
for the National Youth Theatre.
Yeah.
yeah.
I got accepted and
Wow,
everything.
Yeah.
And this is where youth is great, isn't it? Some friends of mine said, would you like to come on a holiday? And it was right at the same time. And do you know, I didn't go to the National Youth Theatre. I can't believe I made that decision.
Gosh, just think how much different your
Yeah.
path could have been. But
Yeah.
obviously it was meant to be as it is. But
Yes.
could have been
I
quite
think
different, yeah.
actually I kind of felt a call to full-time ministry from about the age of 11.
Did you
believe it or
really?
not? I can remember going into a room. It was a midweek meeting. I was just with my mum and walked in, and something hit me, and I thought, these people in this room, they were all age groups. They've got something that I want.
right, wow.
It just hit me.
Yeah.
And by the time I'd walked out that room, nobody had said anything to me. There wasn't any dynamic preaching or anything like that. I just thought, yes, this is for me.
Fabulous.
So I did have that calling. I just didn't really fully recognise it till a bit older.
Okay.
Ticking away quietly in
Yes,
the background.
it was.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So-
did you have a Christian sort of family? Were you brought up in that sort of?
Sort of.
Yeah.
My mum had a Christian faith. My
Yeah.
dad strictly came from a weddings and funeral family.
Okay.
Otherwise, nobody would step across a church doorway. So, yes, and then my dad got involved through helping out with youth work because he used to be Met Police, and he was quite handy in an
Yeah,
open youth club
yeah.
to
Yeah.
have around.
Yes.
And then he just sort of got more and more involved in the church, and actually ultimately took early retirement and became an Elim minister. So
Oh, well.
Right.
big
Wow.
change in his
There
life.
was something happened there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but we were kind of the oddbods of the family, really, on both sides. That we were the only ones that went to church.
Okay. So you did school at Walton then, and so but you didn't go straight into ministry, even though you had this sort of latent thing going on in there. But you did you do A levels or?
I did do A levels. I went to Isha College.
Okay.
I had a great time there. It's the first time in education that I really, really enjoyed myself. I came out
good.
with rubbish A levels because I was having such a great
Yeah,
time
a good
there.
time though.
Yes.
My sister went to Isha College. She had a brilliant time.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Oh, God.
stop it! Too many connections.
I know.
Too many
wow.
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I thought when I've done my A levels,
Yeah.
I'm never going to do any more studying for the
Okay.
rest of my life.
Yes. So you got that out of your system, Isha
Yeah.
College, done,
Yeah.
dusted.
Yeah.
Never going to study anything ever again.
Yeah.
Good. So what did you do next?
No, I went into the workplace. I kind of tripped over a job when I was visiting a friend, and I worked for CWR for a couple of years, Waverley Abbey.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But at the time, it was with Selwyn Hughes.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic evangelist preacher.
Yeah.
And it was at a time when it was very exciting to be part of it.
Okay,
And we'd go all over the country, and it was fantastic.
What were you doing there exactly?
Anything and everything, I
Right,
think.
okay.
I was employed.
Factotum.
I was employed as the receptionist and telephonist.
Right.
So, but because it was at its beginning stages, everyone did everything. We all mucked in, and we got involved in organising conferences, all kinds of things. And
So it's
great.
relatively small.
It was.
Yeah, because you think of it now and you think it was a massive organisation, Waverley Abbey, and
There was probably
It's-
about 20 of us.
how interesting.
So
yeah.
we were in this office block, and we had this lift where we used to pile in all these books and things, and the lift would break down regularly because we basically overloaded
Yeah.
it.
But you had lift service in the family, though, didn't you?
Yes, you
Yes.
see, yes.
So you were an ideal person to have that.
Well, not really, because I never went in the lift because I knew it broke down and people would always be stuck in it.
Yeah.
I really needed my grandmother sorted out. I did that for a couple of years, and then cruelly,
Yeah.
they persuaded me that it would be really good because at CWR they recognised this calling on
Right,
my life. They said,
okay.
"Have you ever thought of going to Bible college?"
Right.
Right.
And the answer was no.
No,
obviously.
obviously, yeah.
And they
Involved
said, "Well,
study. Yeah.
yes."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that they actually told me about this study.
Oh,
really.
right.
okay.
So what did you think you might do at college if it wasn't you thought, like just drawing or something, or dance?
I was actually in the dance and drama and performance part of
There we
when
go.
So I did actually go to Bible college for a couple of years.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And
Yeah.
I
Whereabouts
thought
was that? Was that local still?
Moorlands down in
Oh, in Christchurch?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, okay.
Not
Yeah.
very far away.
I
Really.
know it very well. Lovely place.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't been to Christchurch, you should go. Not necessarily right now, but at some
Okay. At
point.
some point.
Yeah.
And I thought from there I'd launch into Christian ministry.
Yeah.
But actually, I picked up a virus,
Oh, dear. Okay.
and it affected my heart.
wow.
And I was in a position where even walking upstairs was a struggle. I'd have to sort of stop and sort of get my breath. And I was told I mustn't exercise under any circumstances. It was really serious, and that knocked me out in a way for a few years. I did go and get employment, and the whole Christian thing was on the back burner. It was just a matter of getting my health back, really.
Yeah, just sorting it out. Yeah.
So what did you do in the meantime?
Right, I've actually written down a
Have you?
list.
Oh,
Yes, I
right.
have written
Yeah.
down a list. If only I could find my list, because I thought you'd just
Number
be
one on the list,
amazed.
find list.
Yeah.
Yes, that would
Yeah.
be a good idea. I should have had. Oh, here we go. I have worked in a casino,
Ooh.
a health club,
Gosh, that was a bit dicey, wasn't it? Oh, sorry.
Hey.
College of Further Education, National Express coaches.
Oh, nice. I
Oh,
like
nice,
coaches.
yeah.
Local government. I was a poll tax collector
Oh.
and a civil servant
Wow.
at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you impressed?
I'm really impressed. I'm impressed.
I'm
Well, we're both
flabbergasted.
impressed. What did you think of local government then? Working in local government?
I had a great time,
Did you?
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
some fantastic
Did you
people.
do
worked
much
there.
work?
I did work. Oh, that's so naughty.
Oh, naughty! Sorry about that.
I'll have
Sorry.
you know, local
Strike
government
that one
work
off.
very
I know.
hard.
I'm really sorry.
How could you?
I'm sorry. I am sorry. Go on. Tell me what you did.
That's your council tax going up next year. mate.
I know.
I'll send them round to your house personally. I worked with some great people.
Yeah.
And during that time, I still carried on with my Christian involvement. I
yeah,
trained as a
yeah.
Methodist local preacher because I went to Methodist
wow, okay,
church.
okay.
And then I met my husband
Okay.
at the age of 30.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a surprise because he was an Anglican vicar.
Right.
And I had never anticipated, that wasn't in my plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite see how that was going to work for me with a call to ministry. And obviously we wanted to be worshipping in the same church and be together. So I moved to Birmingham. At that time he was at St Martin's in the Bullring, right in the centre of
Oh, right.
Birmingham.
Gosh, that's proper city centre, isn't it?
Proper city centre, proper city centre, which actually has been great training for what I'm doing now.
So they were in Birmingham, happily a vicar's wife. You were married by this time, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
So a happy vicar's wife, and
I became an Anglican.
then oh, you
You
did.
see, I've
okay.
hedged all my
Gosh.
bets, you see. So
Yeah,
I've kind of
yeah.
been baptised, I've been confirmed, I've been
Yeah.
fully submerged baptism as well in the mix.
Yeah.
I've been confirmed into the Methodist and Anglican Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I reckon I'm definitely getting to heaven. Just thought I'd tell you
All
that.
the bases covered. Just
Yeah.
need to do
Yeah.
a pilgrimage to Rome.
And then I trained as a reader in the Church of England.
Okay.
Which was a short
to help
training. They were kind to me. And then in Birmingham, I got involved in training of readers, which was fantastic because in Birmingham, we have such a wide variety. You'd have people in your group from the inner city, the factory floor, to the professors at the university, right across the spectrum, and very interesting and very inspiring. So huge privilege to be involved in that. I was also on the Bishop's Liturgical Committee. I just thought I'd put that in because that sounds good, doesn't it?
It does. There's a lot of long words. Well, there's two long words.
Liturgical.
Bishops isn't a very long word, is it? But
What's the second long word then?
well, committee is quite long.
It's not that long.
Is it?
No, really.
What's
They do go on a bit.
What's the definition of a long word, though? I don't know. At what point does it? How many letters does a word have to be long? I'm going to research that again later. So doing lots of stuff, but still not having a Church of England dog collar.
No. No.
How did that happen?
I know. It just, do you know, I started to explore it because my husband said, look, you can't not do this. I'm really blessed with my husband because he always says, go for it. And that's quite something, isn't it, in a relationship, to have
really
someone
good.
that says, yes, you can do it, I'll support
Has that
you,
belief in you.
make it happen and things. So in the meantime, 3 children.
Right. Okay.
So that's quite a handful.
Yes, I can see that taking a little bit of time.
A little bit of time. And then we moved down to Newdigate.
Okay.
And I mean, initially when I was thinking about ordained ministry, I couldn't see how it worked as a couple because that was really unusual to have ordained couples at the time. And also women weren't allowed to be priests. They could only be deacons.
Yeah, so what, just to put a timeline on this, what year are we talking when you moved down here?
Well, I've been down here 19 years now, so
okay,
can you work out the maths for me?
No.
But some time ago.
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
What? Sorry, why are you here? You can't work out the maths.
I'm still flustered by how long words are.
So coming from a Methodist background, there's never been an issue with women. So, I thought, do I want to go through all that and then be told I can only do so much? And the answer is yes, obviously, because I did actually start exploring ordination.
Right.
I really, really wanted them to turn me down, I have to say.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
Because I felt then that I'd have done what I felt God was calling me to do, and then I could start my own business and make some money and, just sort of live my life a little bit more for myself. And then they accepted me. Wow. What was that about? And then I heard about a course that was just about to start up the next year, so I waited a year. That was something new in the Church of England, and it was for Pioneer, Fresh Expressions, and at the time it was under the Holy Trinity Brompton flag, St Paul's Theological Centre.
Okay.
And I thought, do you know what? That would really suit me because you might have realised I've got the common touch really. I like to be out there. I'm probably more comfortable watching soap operas and. Being down the Working Men's Club, and I thought this is going to suit me. So I went up to be interviewed at Holy Trinity Brompton, and I sat there, and I had Graham Tomlins was interviewing me, who's now the Bishop of Kensington, and Jane Williams, who's married to someone that we might know.
Yes.
And they said, well, you haven't done a degree. How are you going to get on with the degree? And I sat there and I thought, I probably should have done a bit more reading up about this before I came for the interview. I was absolutely horrified inside. And I thought,
you have to do what?
So this thing on leaving school, no more study. And I sat there and I thought, a degree? I don't know that I can do that. This is something I've avoided all my life, if I can. But I said, oh, yes, fine, no problem at all, as you do. And anyway, so I went on to this course and we were the first sort of guinea pig group, if you like, that went through and we studied what is now St Mellitus. And also at Ridley Hall in Cambridge, we kind of did a mixed mode kind of style of study and also worked as well at the same time.
So St Mellitus is a theological college,
Yes.
which is very popular now. It's a big old
It
thing,
is,
isn't it?
yes.
Quite well
If you're
known.
young and trendy like me, you
Yeah.
want to go there.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. No, we've had a couple of guests that have been to St. Mellitus, but certainly Ridley Hall seemed very popular. But this was all a bit of a, as you say, an experiment at the time. And
Yes.
what was different about it, the way they were doing it?
It was a 4-year course, and the idea is you did it half time while you were in a parish setting,
Oh, okay.
and you got ordained after 2 years as deacon and 3 years as priest, which is slightly different because normally you do your training and then you get ordained. So it's all as it happens.
Right.
And the idea was that we were supposed to be doing a lot more sort of edgy stuff, I think,
Ooh,
right,
yeah,
rather
yeah.
than the sort of traditional stuff.
Yeah.
The reality is we did both,
Okay.
although I still did curacy as well.
Afterwards.
Basically, it was
Yes.
7 years training.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
putting that as a
okay,
warning
yeah.
to anyone that might be listening to this. 7 years training, okay? And
And obviously by this time there were women being ordained.
yes, which was great relief. I have been
That would have been
involved.
disappointing at the end of all the studying. It was like, oh, sorry, I didn't realise you were a woman.
Yes. So, well, I was the first woman to be ordained at St. Mellitus.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of feel that's
That's
That's a claim.
yes. And I have been involved in Women in the Church Watch.
Okay.
Because I've got 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and I felt, maybe going back a few years, that if they all went forward for selection, my son the doors would open for. Go, come in, we love you, you fit the bill. And my daughters, it would always be hard work
Interesting,
because there was
yeah,
this.
yeah.
And even now, you find a lot of women are taking up the posts that nobody else wants. So you'll find them in inner city or in rural settings where they've got about 15 churches they've got to oversee. So it's been quite a struggle to make those changes. And I think you do need people with a voice to say, think about how you're selecting, how you're appointing.
Yes. So having done all your training, including curacy, I suppose, then what then you had to find something to do as an ordained priest, I suppose.
Well, my husband was very keen that I did something that involved being paid.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of did I'll have a career break when we had the children, and then that was the end of my money coming in.
Yeah.
Often the case, yeah.
So I got the opportunity of applying for Town Centre Chaplain in Guildford, and brilliant, perfect fit. I've got the dream job.
Yeah.
If I'd written a job description for myself, this would be it,
Yeah.
which is a huge privilege. It's a chaplaincy that's grown up out of the Christian churches in Guildford.
Yes, yeah.
So my role is not as an ordained Anglican
Right,
priest,
okay.
but actually as a chaplain to Guildford. About a third of our sponsorship to keep the chaplaincy afloat comes from right across the denominations and the Christian churches.
Okay.
So when I go places, I say I come to represent the Christian church,
Yeah.
which is a huge privilege.
Yeah. So what does that involve on a day-to-day basis, doing that job?
Drinking lots of cups of tea. No,
Really?
I tell
cake.
people that. And cake, yes. So I'm waddling around here.
No.
We've
Yeah.
got 3 projects. One that most people would probably know is the Street Angels. We
Yes.
go out on a Friday and Saturday night each week, and have done for the last 13 years in Guildford. 10 o'clock at night through to 4 o'clock in the morning. And we have these amazing volunteers that sign up to this. We train them and we go out on the streets. And we're there as the sort of friendly friend. We have lollipops, which are our secret weapon. If there's a fight that looks like it's might be about to
gosh,
start,
yeah,
you go, would
yeah.
you like a lollipop? And I don't know what it is about lollipops. It distracts people and they think, and it must take you back to your childhood. You go, lollipop. And by the time you've tried to unwrap the paper around them, because there's ones on the stick,
Right.
that's quite a struggle. And the fight starts
Just
to
interrupts
disappear.
the thought process.
Yes.
Yes.
And then by the time they've had a little sugar boost from the lollipop,
Yeah.
the fight's gone.
Good,
And things
distraction.
like if people's phone charge has gone and they've lost their friends or they've been kicked out of a
Yeah.
nightclub,
Yeah.
things like that. We come alongside.
It's
and help.
amazing work. Wow.
A huge privilege, and it's a privilege to work with our volunteers. They're just
Yes.
amazing, and the age range of our volunteers is sort of from about 20 to some are in their late 70s, and to miss a night's sleep, that's quite a
Yeah,
commitment,
that
isn't
yeah.
it?
Gosh, how do you feel about doing that? Do you ever feel a bit afraid?
Well, I
out
think
there, or
because we go out in uniform,
Yeah.
and most people that go out clubbing and things like that
Yeah.
recognise that we're there to
they
be
recognise
helpful,
Yeah,
not.
sure. Yeah,
So actually, you ought to go out one night because
Yeah.
people come up. Not in COVID, but you get hugs. You get, we love
okay.
you, Australia.
Brilliant.
Oh, you
Yeah.
helped me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's actually quite an affirming
Yes.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about my other two projects.
The other
because
two
I've got
projects.
two others.
Yeah. Yes.
One is Community Angels that we started about 3 years ago, and it was to come alongside and befriend people that were very isolated and lonely. Normally, people are referred to us by social services, local wardens, police, all kinds of reasons why they're referred. And it's, I would say, people that fall through the gaps a little bit, need some help, need someone to come and give them some encouragement, and it could make a big difference to their lives. So our Community Angels come alongside people for 6 months on a weekly basis, and they're all volunteers again.
Right.
And it could be someone that's been bereaved, for instance, that if you've always gone, you're very close with your partner, and suddenly
Yeah.
you're on your own, you can lose your confidence and everything. And someone to come and say, right, how are we going to reconnect, and sort of let's go out together. Maybe there's this group or that, and all kinds of things like that. Well, you can imagine in COVID, our work increased 300%,
Wow.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is quite something. And it's still going really strong. And I think agencies as well like to come to something like the Guildord Town Centre Chaplaincy, because it's not a particular church.
Right.
It's actually,
Yeah.
they recognise that we've got Christian roots. We don't preach or proselytise. It's one of your long
Yeah.
That
words.
is
Gosh,
a long word. Is that a long word?
It's a complicated word.
Is that a long- how many words?
P-R-O-S-E-L-Y.
It's longish. Yeah.
So we don't do any of that.
Yeah.
We just come along. We're non-judgmental. We just come
That's
alongside.
also a long word, although hyphenated.
Yeah.
Does that count? I think it does.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry, just you rudely interrupted.
Sorry. I'm just completely obsessed by long words there.
I'm feeling the pressure to think of some long words just to keep you happy.
Sorry. Non-judgmental, yes.
So no agenda, and that's that's what Jesus did, isn't it? When came alongside people,
Yeah. Just walk the walk, as they
walk
say.
the walk.
Yeah.
So that's that project.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
our third one is volunteer chaplains.
Okay.
And we go into different places of work. We're invited in. We don't
okay.
just sort of
Yeah.
barge through the door,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And we're available if someone wants to talk with us.
Okay.
You don't, you can be people of faith, no faith, different faiths. We don't mind. Again, it's a safe space. And I think a lot of people have realised during COVID again that wellness in the workplace is actually really important.
It's such a big thing, isn't it, these days?
So we've gone into places. We've just set up our first GP chaplaincy. So you can, rather than book in to see a doctor, you can book in to see our chaplain.
Yeah.
Police, fire, with the homeless, retail, sort of a complete mix. I've just had an inquiry about bus station.
Oh, right.
So that
Yeah.
going back to my roots
Yeah.
of National Express coaches,
Yes,
you
yeah,
see, so I was
perfect.
quite
You've got the
excited.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is a chaplain?
In the role I am in, I'm kind of heading up a group of people to enable them to go out and care and bless those around us. In my own particular role, I obviously have to do the kind of management side of things. I have to do admin. I have to drink cups of tea with people.
Yeah.
I get to go to civic events, university, the homeless. I set up a homeless forum last year, so all the different parties could come together and be able to. I'm making things happen and being in the centre of Guildford, so that when things are happening, they sort of think, oh, maybe we should have that chaplain.
Okay. Yeah.
Just getting good old-fashioned networking.
Yes,
For a very worthy cause.
Yes.
And it really sounds like, and you can tell you find a lot of that quite exciting and invigorating and energising, which is wonderful. And it seems to reach into how you were describing yourself earlier about just really getting out there and getting stuck in and hands dirty. And so it's one sense like a round peg in a round hole. That's really interesting, Noelle. Thank you for that guide through your journey.
fantastic.
But As we always say, we like to get a broader view of our guests as human beings. And so, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Obviously, the dancing and singing and the drama are
Still doing a lot of that?
important.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, lots of it.
Okay.
Actually, I must admit, when I make meals in the kitchen, that's my workout time as well.
Is it?
Because my family have rubbish meals, but that doesn't matter. But I kind of put on some music, sort of do a bit of dancing.
Sing along?
Yes, just
right.
make it fun.
Yeah. And you live in a lovely part of the world, so you see a bit of that.
I do a lot of walking.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Again, quite active and out there. You did mention watching soap operas, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, actually,
Is
I
that,
have
is
to
that a guilty
say,
secret?
well, it's changed from soap operas. It's
okay.
actually changed, and I found Korean dramas. Oh, yes, love
Korean
them.
dramas?
Yes.
Gosh, I've never heard of that.
No. I didn't know.
No.
You haven't lived. You haven't lived. They're quite fun. It's just very different sort of cultural setting, which I find quite interesting.
Yeah.
And some of the Scandinavian
Right,
okay.
sort of some of those a bit darker. aren't
I have
they?
heard of those.
Well, you
Yes.
mentioned Helsinki earlier, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been to Helsinki.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Lovely city.
Let's finish there. Oh, sorry.
Very good.
Just trying to get one in, I suppose.
Right, well, Noelle,
was it, was it?
it's very nearly time for us to find out what you have brought for lunch. But we'd like to play a quick fire game before that of My Favourite Things.
My favourite things.
Yes, My Favourite Things, a very simple game that I'm sure you're familiar with by now, Noelle. And so we have a number of categories. We'll give you a category and you just tell us your favourite thing in that category. Now, we always start here on Take A Pew with the first category of the book of the Bible. So your favourite book of the Bible?
Oh, great. It's got to be a woman's one, hasn't it? Ruth. in
Oh,
the Old
okay.
Testament.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. It's short, so it
It is
doesn't take
short.
long
It
to
is,
read.
Yeah.
She's a woman who's kind of displaced in the wrong country at the wrong time, in a famine. Everything's sort of stacked against her.
Yeah.
But in the midst of that, there's a real determined, quietly gets on with life.
Yeah.
And I just love that. She just sort of
Yeah.
gets the God of her mother-in-law matters. And she's going to live her life, whatever life brings in her direction.
Great. Well, there we go, listeners. Recommendation for you. It doesn't take you long to read. Just get stuck into the book of Ruth. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We talked about food earlier. So what's your favourite meal of the day?
My favourite meal of the
Favourite
day.
meal of the day. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, it's got to be the lunch, hasn't it?
Got to be the lunch. Oh.
Actually, I was thinking because you talked about having the common touch. I think you called it something like that. But
Yes.
it's, one thing that struck me about meals is when I was young, we used to have breakfast, dinner, and tea. And
Yes.
now I'm posh and middle class. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I never quite got posh enough to have supper.
Oh,
To me,
supper,
supper
yes,
was a
yeah.
bowl of cornflakes just before
Yeah.
you went to bed, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so our third category is always a top five. And we're as we record this, we're just at the start of the school holidays. And it's holiday season, even though people may not be getting away as much as they want. But for your top five places to go on holiday.
Right. Well, I've actually been to my top five
Oh, there we go.
because sometimes you go to places you want to go to.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And obviously, number one is England.
Hey,
Any particular-
Britannia. Sorry.
Particular part of England? Or?
I mean, I
Yeah.
love the Lake District because I like to get to the top of the mountains. I don't like necessarily climbing up to the top, but it's a great achievement when you get there.
Yeah.
And then it's quite hard going down as
Yes, yes.
well. But beautiful. And Norfolk, all the Broads all around that
lovely
area.
around that. Yeah.
Suffolk, Sussex, Devon,
Yeah.
Cornwall. The list is going on,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah, everywhere, really.
And I
Yeah.
think sometimes we live somewhere and we just don't appreciate how beautiful it is. And you almost
Yes.
need to
Yeah,
come with
yeah.
fresh eyes, don't you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
It is nice, and there are underrated places like Toxteth,
Yeah.
which is a very popular destination now. And
Slough is
and
getting
Slough is
better.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've actually been on holiday to Swindon.
There we go.
There you are.
Swindon.
It's
great.
when you said Slough, it just brought it back. And the thing I remember about Swindon is they've got so many roundabouts.
Yeah, so that's a really complicated roundabout, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
one with all the other ones
And they
on the
just got
outside.
everywhere you go. They don't have
Yeah.
traffic lights, they just have
Yeah,
roundabouts.
lots of roundabouts.
But the people in Swindon were so lovely and
Yeah,
so
lovely.
friendly.
Yeah.
And they have got a
Yeah.
railway museum. That's
Oh,
the big
yeah.
excitement
So there's
there.
Swindon, maybe.
Yeah.
So we may scoff. You may scoff, Simon, at Swindon.
No, I went to Swindon. I went to the Railway Museum. I was chuffed to bits. Seriously.
Oh dear. So Swindon's got the Railway Museum. It's got lovely people and endless hours of amusement going round and round roundabouts.
Yeah, it's great.
It was
Let's
great.
get
It was
it.
a
You've
really
gotta get
nice
there, folks.
holiday.
Yeah.
And it was cheap
Yeah.
for some reason.
Perfect.
Excellent.
So that's England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and then
that's
you've got
one.
Wales.
Oh,
Wales.
right.
Yeah. I see. I'm not going too far afield here.
Yes.
I think it's the COVID
That's okay.
mind. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to
Yes.
keep it
We're all a
local.
bit closed in, aren't we? Yeah.
I got indoctrinated actually by Selwyn Hughes, who, when I was working with him, he just sort of said, "Oh, they're God's chosen people, the Welsh. It's the lost tribe of Israel, things like that." I've also had some super holidays,
Yeah.
and again, it's the people, fantastic people, and the singing. Back to the music again.
Yeah.
Some of the male voiced
Yeah,
choirs and things.
yeah,
It really sends a shiver down your spine. Fantastic.
Great.
Beautiful.
Okay, so it's England, Wales,
Norway.
Norway. I thought we were going to say Northern Ireland, but no.
No, I've never got to Northern Ireland.
Why
I don't
particularly
know.
Norway? The people again, or just
The air, it's so
scenery in the area.
fresh,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's you just feel so alive
Yeah,
there. It's
yeah.
beautiful. Yes, absolutely love Norway.
Yeah.
Switzerland. You see, I keep going for
yeah.
mountains again, don't
yeah.
I?
Well,
And
I'm
what
just-
I like about Switzerland is all the trains and all the public transport goes exactly on time.
Yes, yes.
How do they do it?
Yes.
How do they do it?
It was. We went a couple of years ago. Was it a couple? Yeah, a couple of years ago with some friends who've got a share in a very nice chalet in Switzerland somewhere. So,
nice.
so we flew into somewhere like Geneva,
Yeah.
the one with the spouty thing in the lake.
Yes,
Is
that's
that Geneva?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Not Zurich.
That's a technical term.
and then we had to get a train from there round to where they were. And yeah, as you said, the train was an hour and 20 minutes late.
No.
It was.
No way.
And I thought this must be the first and only train
yeah.
ever to be late in Switzerland. Because
Were they really apologetic about it? Did they? Give you a
well, they
refund
didn't
or
know what to do. It had never
something?
happened
Never
before.
happened.
No, it was the whole city almost collapsed. So
And
that's
lastly,
four,
a
yeah.
little bit further,
Yes.
Florida.
Oh, lovely.
yes.
We're both fans of Florida, I think.
Massive
aren't we?
fans.
Yeah,
of Florida.
family holidays.
Yeah. been there
Yeah.
a few-
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
sunny.
lovely.
The
Yeah,
sun
it
there.
It's sunny.
It's so nice, and
Yeah.
everyone's polite to you. Did you find that when you were in Florida?
Yeah, I
In
think
the
anywhere
shops
in
and
America,
everything,
people
they
are
want
very
to
polite.
look
Yeah.
after you
Yeah.
and serve you.
Yeah.
Any particular part of Florida that you?
Well, we were staying when we went out there. Some friends like you with your Switzerland thing had a little mobile phone home.
Mobile phone.
Phone,
That's handy. Yeah.
home, and it was on a retirement complex
right.
over
Oh,
in
okay.
Clearwater.
So it's quite quiet.
Oh,
Really
okay,
nice.
nice.
It was great, and
Yeah.
we sort of had our young children with us, our young
Yeah.
children then, and they all loved the kids, and
Yeah.
they were going, "Oh, do you want us to look after them? We'll babysit, you know."
okay.
Oh.
Fantastic.
And they was just so
Yeah.
friendly. So
Yeah.
Clearwater over that area
Yeah.
was
Yeah, it's
lovely.
that's a lovely side, isn't it? Anyway, that's very good. You're sort of top 5 places to go on holiday. Perfect.
Perfect, brilliant. So just moving swiftly on. So Noelle, you've got a varied church background, and you now, of course, liaise with the local churches. So what's your favourite denomination?
Yes. Good question. Good question.
What's my favourite denomination?
Yes.
I do you know what I love is a number of years back, say 20 years back, you very much, I'm this denomination, I'm that denomination.
Yeah.
What I'm finding is we're working together, and we're taking things that are good from each denomination and working together.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So I have to say Church of England, because
Yes.
I'm in the Church of England. It's so broad. You can go to a Church of England service in one place and it won't have any similarity to a Church of England service in another place. So it kind of encompasses that breadth. But I think all denominations bring something really special.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good answer.
Apart
Like
from
that.
the Baptists, I think. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I grew up in a what was then a Presbyterian church, and then I went to a Congregational church, and then they became the United Reformed Church, and then we got married in a Methodist church. and went to a Methodist church for a while after that, and then eventually ended up in a Church of England church, which always felt very posh to me when I was growing up. Church of England were the sort of posh ones. But that was just the churches
But
where
it's
we were.
interesting, isn't it? So many people do end up in Church of England churches. I met up with a friend who's real Pentecostal, and I said, where are you going to church now? And she went, the local Church of England church. And I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's interesting. Anyway, so your final category in my favourite things, Noelle, you mentioned you like walking, and you've talked about the Lake District, and you've talked about Norway, and you've talked about Switzerland. So final category, and this is a multiple choice category, okay? And it's your favourite hill. Okay, your favourite hill. I'll give you 3 possible answers, and you just tell us your favourite. So your favourite hill: Notting Hill, comedian Harry Hill, or Hillary Clinton. Your favourite hill.
Right. Well, it's got to be Harry Hill, hasn't it?
Is it? Yes. You're a fan of his work?
I am. He's got a kind of childlike humour, really, hasn't he? That kind of connects, and he's a bit of an idiot, and he makes me smile.
Yeah.
So there's a clear winner.
That
wasn't a hard choice.
No.
There.
Really? Okay. Maybe I should have thought of some other hills that you could have liked. But so Harry Hill wins the day, and that was my favourite things. But I think it's high time that we let you pause for lunch, and therefore we're going to ask the question:
Tell us, Reverend, what's in your lunchbox?
Yes, tell us, Reverend, what's in your lunchbox?
Well, having listened to some other Take A Pew, and you just sit there and go, yum, 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 yum. I thought
it's not very good then, is it, really? We must try harder.
It just makes everyone feel really hungry, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I thought I'd take it slightly different.
Okay.
And I'm going to unpack. It's in silver
well,
foil.
firstly, thank you for bringing along a packed lunch, a proper packed lunch with some, as you say, some foil and a little container there. But
there is a reason why there's sandwiches in here.
Yes.
There is a reason why I've got them wrapped up.
Yes.
Quite smelly.
They are very smelly.
Aromatic, I think, is the word.
Oh, sorry, yeah, of course.
And I've gone for sandwiches that my husband loves, actually, and he's going to get these for lunch because I am not eating them.
Okay.
Why do people go for egg mayonnaise?
I love egg mayonnaise. Nice
and
thick bread.
White pappy bread.
Yeah.
It's quite pappy.
It does,
Yes.
I would happily devour those sandwiches.
Disgusting.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I could.
But I see you've taken the format slightly different direction
What I
by
hate.
bringing what you hate to have for lunch. So you don't want that.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got an apple, really healthy. Okay,
Yes.
I like apples.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But invariably, if they're in packed lunches, they seem to be the ones that are really hard. And you've got to... And it's just hard work.
Yes.
If you've got packed lunch, you don't want something that's hard work.
No, okay, I can understand that.
Now-
and what's that? That's a French golden delicious one.
I have no idea. I think it was a granny something.
Oh, okay.
It's a green one.
It's a green one.
Oh,
That's all
what's
we need
that?
to know.
This is a
hello.
mushy,
mushy-
little tiny tomato.
Right.
Okay.
Packed lunches, how invariably do you get some sort of normally tasteless, mushy something that's sort of in there that just sort of squashes and you think, why did you put it in there?
Yeah.
And then, well, this is supposed to be a lettuce leaf, but this is the best I could do. It's these sort of lamb's ear things.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
When I was young, my dad used to make Sunday tea. This was his big thing of the week. I will make Sunday tea for everyone. Dad would give us a wilty lettuce leaf,
Right.
Yeah. One of those tomatoes.
one of these squidgy, tasteless tomatoes,
Yeah.
Right.
and then this.
Oh, what's that?
Hello.
Cheese.
cheese.
So you get a lump of cheese and a big wedge of bread.
Yes.
That was
Okay.
it. That was
Yeah.
that was. Oh, and some pickle.
Yes.
Actually, I still like
Okay.
pickle.
So
in those
cheese
boxes.
and salad and perhaps some pickle and a hunk of bread. You'd think that people would have come up with a name for that, wouldn't you?
Boring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, call it like a
Unimaginative.
farmer's lunch or
Farmer's
something,
lunch,
or a shepherd's
A
lunch,
tractor driver's
tractor driver's lunch, something like that.
Yeah,
But I don't think they have.
That's weird,
But
isn't it?
anyway,
So-
so we're still on the direction of things you really don't want in a packed lunch. Yeah, okay. Well,
I
like
just
this.
thought
Yeah.
because
I think it's great. Yeah, that's
if
great.
people are listening, all
Yeah.
they're going to do is they're going to switch off this
Yeah.
and go and
Yeah.
make their lunch if it's too
Yeah.
tasty.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going for
Yeah.
what they really don't want: prawn cocktail crisp. I used to love them.
Yes.
Then I got pregnant happened the first time, and I couldn't stand them in the room. I literally had to
really?
leave
It's
the
that
room
bad?
if I could smell these.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
ever since, it's had that effect on me.
Right.
So prawn cocktail for it.
Yeah.
Chris.
I must say, I love prawn cocktail crisps. It's probably my favourite flavour, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't it funny? Yeah, how some people can be so wrong about crisps. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
We
now.
won't decide which one's wrong.
Some people just love
I
them.
think we all
Just
know.
love them. Oh, there's
No,
another.
it's still going, though.
And then I've got a can of, actually this is, well, I won't say what's, I've just seen what it's got. It's Pepsi Max with lime in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. This is turning into quite an amusing episode because I do have a can of Pepsi Max most days with my lunch.
Do you?
Isn't that funny? Yes.
Gosh.
But I am perfectly aware, thank you everybody, before you write in, that it's very, very bad for you. And it's basically like drinking hydrochloric acid. You're the scientist, Simon, you'll know about
It's got,
that.
it's horrible. It's got
It's-
phosphoric. Well, it's not horrible. It's nice, but it's got
Yeah.
phosphoric acid in it. And it does
I'm very
horrible things to your teeth. And all
Yeah, I'm very well. When I had
Yeah.
teeth, that used to be a problem that I had.
I know I haven't got any teeth because I've had too much Pepsi.
It's amusingly.
It's easy for you to say.
It's amusingly difficult to say
Pepsi.
if you've got no teeth.
Pepsi.
Try it at home, everyone. Okay, so,
So
you
basically
don't.
my nightmare lunch
Yes.
is your
Yeah,
favourite
that's-
lunch.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
It's not
Most of it is,
far
isn't
off.
it? It is.
It's
Yeah.
not far off.
Now
Yeah.
you're going to love the last one.
Yes.
Actually,
Last
the
one's
last
intriguing.
one I've got
Yeah.
wrapped up
Wrapped
again
up
because
again.
I wanted it to be a special surprise
Oh,
for
okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is something I do like, but I think as a priest, every priest should have this in their lunchbox.
Right.
A hot
that.
cross bun.
Oh.
Now, you see, if you were looking at someone else's lunchbox, you're thinking, I wonder if they've got something nicer than I've got in my lunchbox. And then you see them unwrapping it, you kind of focus in, and then you open it up, a hot cross bun, and then I can go, it's all about Jesus.
That's great.
See, I'm a priest.
Yes.
And I think people just
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a coincidence because the bun has got a cross on it.
It has, that's why it's
Yeah.
called a hot cross bun.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I
Because it's got a
didn't
cross.
realise that connection before. Yeah. Well, normally at this point, I would say we'll just sit back and allow you to enjoy your lunch, but you're not going to enjoy much of it, but you might enjoy a little bit of hot cross bun, and
Yeah.
perhaps you can find out what Pepsi Max with lime is actually like. So we'll just sit back and allow you to tuck into whatever you want to.
Well, I might need to share it with
You
you.
might need to, yes.
Take a pew.
Well, welcome back, everyone, and I'm delighted to report back that our guest, the Reverend Noelle Coe, has polished off at least some of her worst ever packed lunch. Now, Noelle, we've talked about your journey so far and some very interesting insight into what it is that you do now. You said that you may be a town centre chaplain until they kick you out, so to speak. But is there anything else where we look forward? Is there any other sort of events or life changes that you see coming up, or that you'd like to see?
Or that I'd like to say, world peace. I think for most of us, it's the small things, isn't it,
Yeah.
that make a big difference. And I want to be able to carry on doing the ministry that I'm doing.
Yes.
I also want to know that there's a future. I know that sounds a funny thing to say, but I think sometimes people sort of say, oh, we're coming up to retirement because that will probably be my next stage. But I don't want that to be an end. I'd like to have new projects, be able to help others. It makes a big difference. I think particularly as clergy that if you're attached to a local church, you can say, well, would you like me to help run a particular thing? Which would help the people in that church and be able to be a blessing, really.
Yeah.
And make a difference.
Yeah.
And I guess as everybody in a Christian life, it's important that we impact where we live, the people around us where we're working, and being positive and
Well,
things
that's
like that.
it's great, and obviously with a heart for doing that sort of thing, there'll always be opportunities to do that. It's just
I'm not going to sit back in an armchair.
no.
Just thought I'd tell you
Just
that.
so you may not get paid for it. That's the challenge, I suppose. isn't
Well,
it?
I've been used to that for quite a few years. My husband would be devastated, but hey,
Yes. Well, we wish you well and whatever God may
absolutely.
have lined up for you.
Yes,
But
definitely.
But while we've got you, Noelle, we'd like to seek your guidance on a couple of things. In a moment, we'll ask you to share a spiritual pearl of wisdom.
Yes, but first it's time for us to enlist your help with a bit of myth busting. And we call this part of the show...
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?
Yes, is it true? We've already set the record straight on many interesting theories concerning faith and the Bible on the Take A Pew podcast. But this time we have a particularly thorny issue. So,
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?
Yes. So, Reverend Noelle Coe, is it true that Noah's Ark was made out of gophers?
yes, is it true?
Gophers. That's an interesting question.
Yes. Is it true? Well, we've done some research on it.
We have
does
done a
say,
little
it
bit,
does
doesn't
say
it? Yeah,
thou
yeah.
shalt make thyself an ark out of gopher.
It
says,
does. Actually, you're so right.
Yeah,
does,
it was-
yeah.
I'd
yes, it's
forgotten
odd.
that.
Yeah.
I think you may have got a little bit confused.
Okay. Right.
You're thinking of like a gopher as a little animal?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
As in Gordon the gopher.
Gordon the gopher.
That's what I thought.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
So you got this picture of killing lots of Gordon the gophers and then sort of
Well, I mean,
building them
sadly,
in,
some
and so
amount
that
of
it's like the
sacrifice-
idea that the skin sort of acts
That's
as
it. Yeah.
a
Well, things like kayaks were traditionally made
Yeah.
out of seal skin,
Yeah,
weren't they?
yeah, they were
Yeah.
absolutely. If I look at my Bible here, it says, "Thou shalt make thyself." In Genesis, I can't work out
I'm
where
sure
it is,
it
but
does, it does, doesn't
you
it?
make thyself an ark out of gopher wood. Oh, gopher wood.
Oh, gopher wood. Oh, come on.
Oh, we got that wrong. What is gopher wood? So not made out of gophers.
Gopher wood.
Because it would have been, well, okay, it would have been so practical given the kayak analogy, but it would
Yeah.
have been very sad, wouldn't it?
and
would
also
have been.
gophers aren't that big. It would have taken
They're
quite
quite
a bit of
Yes.
time to sort of round them up.
Yeah.
And I don't know quite how waterproof they are. And presumably they would have been either 2 or 7 gophers on the ark as well.
Yes,
And
definitely.
they'd have been surrounded by some of their relatives.
Maybe they shouldn't have been on the ark. Maybe it was an opportunity not to have any gophers.
Maybe they hadn't been. Or maybe that is the whole purpose of the flood was to eliminate gophers, but to save fish
Ah, yes. That's probably
because they were
it.
quite happy in the flood.
Yeah, they were happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Oh,
Yeah.
Problem solved.
problem solved.
Nice.
Oh,
So they were.
Thanks,
so,
Noelle.
so
Thanks,
they weren't
Noelle. That's
made. It
brilliant.
wasn't made out of gophers.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I think that one's cleared up. Unusually for Take A Pew, I think we cleared up on that. And while we bask in that newfound clarity, please, Noelle, would you mind sharing with us your spiritual pearl of wisdom?
It's a spiritual pearl of wisdom.
As you can see, I'm wearing a crown. Wow. How exciting is that? And that's because my spiritual pearl of wisdom comes from the book of Revelations, the last book in the Bible. And as we've got the Olympics on at the moment, I don't know whether you've been up all night because that's when you see the Olympics, but you're given a crown, aren't you? The idea of when you've run a race, you're given a crown. So crowns, there's 2 uses for crowns. One's if you're a king or a queen, obviously, or princess perhaps, but you have a crown for that. But for people like me, that's not going to happen. But if you run a race and you achieve the race, come to the end, you get a crown, a recognition, isn't it? A sort of, yes, you've got there. And from my spiritual pearl of wisdom is that in life, the chances are that we all encounter things like suffering, and that's people of faith or no faith. And we experience the separation from health, from friends, from family, even from this world. But Paul tells us nothing separates us from the love of God. So that's my pearl of wisdom, and we'll all get these crowns. How exciting is that?
It's a spiritual pearl of wisdom.
Well, thank you for that, Noelle. And sadly, in so many ways, we're fast approaching the end of our time together. But we do, unfortunately, some might say, still have time for...
Simon's Random Question.
Simon, what's your random question for Noelle?
Well, my random question for you, Noelle, is what?
What?
Yes, what?
What?
No, but what is your question?
Correct.
What?
Oh, no, sorry, I've done it again. The rest of my question is over the page. Noelle, my random question for you is, what is the largest thing you have ever eaten?
Oh, that's a good question.
Could be the largest actual bit of food or bit of large thing, like a shark or a buffalo or a whale or anything.
Actually, it was probably fudge.
Fudge.
Because the thing is, if you're stealing fudge when you're little,
Yeah.
and you just taking a dainty piece from a thing of fudge and putting it in your mouth, it means you get caught by the time you've had one piece of fudge.
Yeah.
But if you get the whole packet and you stuff it in your mouth, that you can sort of, where it sort of dribbles out, your cheeks, you look like chipmunks. Fantastic.
Wow.
So,
That
and you're
is
caught
amazing.
and nobody wants it back.
Yeah.
No. Funny. I can imagine if you had so much, it would clog up your entire sinus system and you'd pass out.
No, you don't.
No?
No.
you don't. Is it like-
If you wait long enough, it kind of starts to melt and dribble and things like
that
that. And
once you-
eventually, you're able to eat the whole lot and go completely hyper on
So you can
sugar.
you unhinge your jaws like some of those kind of
You can with
snakes
fudge.
do and just put the whole lot in?
With fudge, you can.
Gosh.
You didn't know
realise
that.
I didn't know that. It's amazing.
That is... Oh, crap. Ow. Thanks for laughing at my agony.
Oh, awfully sorry.
So the largest single piece of something you've eaten was a piece of fudge. That's amazing.
And
Yeah,
it
what a
was
great-
delicious, even if it nearly
really.
killed me.
It must have had a fairly significant physiological effect.
Absolutely.
Gosh.
Wow.
What's the largest thing you've eaten, mate?
Oh gosh, I've had a bit of a blue whale.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just a,
What?
Yeah, just the fin bit. Yeah. Oh,
Not the fat bit.
no, I couldn't finish it, but it was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today,
Have you ever
actually.
found yourself halfway through eating a horse and then thinking, I'm not as hungry as I thought I was?
Oh, several times.
Great stuff.
That's brilliant. That is really good.
Sorry, we need to credit Tim Vine for that
Yes, we
terrible
do.
horse joke. There we are. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Great stuff. But Simon, I think you need to get out more, mate.
I think I do, mate.
But that was
Simon's Random Question.
Noelle. Thank you for having us here in Newdigate, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you, Simon and Ian. It's been great fun.
Has it really?
Yes.
Well, you say that. But thank you, dear listener, for joining us. Simon and I will be with you again soon for another special guest, for another Farrago.
What?
I said, look it up, mate. Another Farrago of fun and faith, facts and fallacies, and frivolity and food. But for now, it's Toodle Pip from me.
And tatty bye from me.
Join us again next time as we take a pew.